Folks, let me tell you about my good friend Todd Nettleton from The Voice of the Martyrs. For over 2 decades, Todd has risked his life to bring attention to the persecution of Christians around the world. Now he's written a powerful book called Faith is Forbidden, detailing his travels and experiences. As a special gift to my listeners, you can get a free copy of this incredible book by simply clicking the link in the description below or call 844-464-3043. Joining us now is a very good friend of mine. By the way, we're here live at the Bitcoin.com studio. That's Bitcoin.com. Is a great friend, Alex Marlow. He's terrific. We got to have Alex on more. He's just terrific. And Salem Radio Network and amongst many other things. What was your reaction to my conversation with Bill Maher? I thought it was very friendly. It was very cordial. And in some ways, very hopeful. Alex, your thoughts?
So my reaction is very positive. I'm glad you're doing it. I'm glad he's doing this. So in general, I'm in the camp that Maher's shtick, he's got a couple shticks, but one of them is he's saying all the stuff that folks like you and me and Steve and all the Donald Trump were saying 8-10 years ago. And people are talking about him like he's a genius for saying them. And I do find that a little irritating and frustrating. But he does have one other shtick that I love, which is he literally is the only person who's talking to all people of every political angle. I know you would talk to them, Charlie. I know I would talk to them on my show, but they don't tend to show up for whatever reason. He's figured out a way to get all these people to show up and talk to him of all these different viewpoints. And it is a terrific product that he puts out because of that. And it's not that he's so amazing, even though he's of course got some skills, but his ability to bring people in is a skill in and of itself. And you've absolutely got to hand it to him for that. And it makes it so that you're able to get deeper on conversations and topics that you're just not going to be able to do in a 2-minute soundbite or people talking past each other on social media. So I'm glad you're doing it, and I'm glad that this could be hopefully open up some doors for some people.
Let's just play one piece of tape here, and then I want to get into some of the news of the day, because we did talk a lot about Garcia. That was a big portion of my conversation with Bill Maher. Let's play a little funny one. Let's play cut 123.
Drink?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
You don't drink?
No.
Or smoke pot?
No.
And you're married and super Christian. We're going to get along great.
You know, this is going to just be perfect.
And we did get along great. It's a good example of how we can heal the country.
Yeah, it is. And I do like that you guys got along. I think it's a good thing because for me, I'm an information guy and I am ideologically conservative. I'm a Catholic. I'm a Christian. I've been a Republican for my whole life, even though that's been hard sometimes. But I will tell you, Charlie, what animates me more as a news person is what's next, what's coming down the pike, what's exciting, what interesting conversations are being had. And so I want more of that. I don't need agreement. This world would be incredibly uninteresting if people only agreed. So if there's a new willingness to talk amongst people who do not have your same viewpoint or lifestyle. You have children. He's twice your age and has no children. I mean, there's so many differences, but it does make for an interesting conversation. I'm just sad to see it's so infrequent. It really is still too infrequent. This is unfortunately the exception and not the rule. But let's make it the rule. Let's make it the rule that we actually start talking.
So Alex, now transitioning to Mr. Abrego Garcia,
Sure.
Kilmar Abrego
Everyone's
Garcia.
favorite Maryland resident.
Yeah,
Maryland
the Maryland
man,
dad, the Maryland man, the upstanding citizen. Where does this whole situation stand, and what is your analysis of it?
So what's interesting about this case is that I think both sides, it's a Rorschach test. Both sides think they're going to win this thing. We see it as these people are lunatics. They are all in for MS-13, meaning the Democrats. They're going down there with have margaritas with MS-13 members. It's this case where he's got all these people in the car with him and no one's got any luggage, and it's clearly involved in human smuggling. That appears to be adding to his resume. It makes you feel as though that how could the Democrats possibly get the upper hand on this? But that's not really the game they're playing. The game they're playing is they're trying to trip up Donald Trump and Stephen Miller and the people who are setting policy for the White House and trying to get them to cross one of these judges, to have some sort of a constitutional crisis, to create a narrative that will allow for them to win in the midterms and then start the impeachments. And Trump's presidency is going to be completely curtailed by the left-wing hysteria and legal activism and lawfare. That's the game they're playing. They're not really living for just this news cycle. They're trying to lay out a strategy that will eventually lead to an impeachment for Donald Trump. So let's not get too cocky. I know they look insane defending MS-13 today, but we got to be pretty vigilant here, because if Trump makes one false move here, they're trying to come up with a strategy that leads to his, if not outright removal, at least waste all his time.
Yeah, and so I think that's right. I think that's really appropriate prudence. What do you make of the calamity in the judicial branch? There is a school of thought that says, look, the Trump administration just fill out the forms, request him back in quotes. Bukele will say no. That'll satisfy the courts, and this issue will largely be put to rest. It keeps on living because of the numerous court interventions around this case.
Yeah, it's a great question because I'm generally a don't give an inch guy, but I do feel like I would kind of love to see them bring him back and then just deport him again because they would and they could. Miller said as much, and he could be deported for any reason. So I don't know, maybe this morning I'm leaning towards do that. But in general, until you just brought it up just now, I do like the don't give an inch approach. Who cares about these people? Who cares about the left-wing media? There was nothing wrong that was done in terms of the law. But the left thinks there's some sort of a hold order that Trump is violating here. And Trump has not crossed one of these lawfare judges yet. He's not done anything illegal. He does not. And I think that's a really wise strategy for now. But it's also, Charlie, what we're seeing is not sustainable. They can't have 675 presidents of the United States who are doubling as district court judges who have a veto over everything Donald Trump does.
Let's play a piece of tape here
Sure.
let's play cut 97, please.
Who did pay for this trip?
This was an officially cleared, congressional trip, cleared
So
on a
taxpayer
bipartisan
dollars.
basis. Yes, like every other trip.
And then we'll put 172 up on screen. This shows that, again, apparently this is how gang tattoos work. An MS-13 style tattoo right on his hands. And so, Alex, your message is caution here. Understand the bigger picture.
Yeah, I just feel like this is one where in the short term, we got to emphasize the Democrats are cornered here defending all of MS-13, and they're, of course, defending illegal alien gang members over American citizens. Trump continuing to have the angel moms out there, make them surrogates in this regard, I think is really important, and it's a great move. But just know that the main goal, they're not dumb. They're foolish sometimes, but they're not dumb on the left, and they're trying to get Trump administration to violate some sort of directive from a court that could lead towards political momentum, towards impeachment. And so just keep that in mind, that they're not doing this without an end game in mind. They are. I think we can beat them at this. I think we are beating them, but let's just not be too overzealous.
So I want to play a piece of tape here and get your analysis, Alex, which it's easy to dismiss this David Hogg, infighting with Hakeem Jeffries, not just Hakeem Jeffries, as rabble-rousing. And, of course, I did a hit with Will Cain on Fox News. I said, look, it's probably a breakdown of fiduciary duty. But understand, was our party made stronger because of some of the primary challenges we did the last decade? You see, Democrats, they've come into a mentality the last couple of years, no primaries, doesn't matter if it's no matter who, vote blue. Let's play cut 106, and then I want your take on, is the Democrat Party trying to get more based? Play cut 106.
David Hogg, who I know you know, a vice chair of the Democratic National Committee, he's going to be joining us on the roundtable, and he is pursuing this effort to unseat some Democrats in safe seats through primary challenges.
Well, I look forward to standing behind every single Democratic incumbent, from the most progressive to the most centrist and all points in between.
Alex, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's really compelling because we in the Republican Party benefited greatly from a civil war that took place. And the history is just really important here, because remember when Mitt Romney lost, I think he spent like $3 billion on that campaign, and we thought he had a good chance. Remember, Charlie, he basically took a walk on the last debate with Obama because he thought he won. He just agreed with Obama on everything in the last debate. And then he got his clock cleaned, and we were all sitting around thinking, what do we got to do? And the Republican establishment told us we need to embrace amnesty. Amnesty for illegal aliens, that's what it was going to take for us to win elections. And a lot of us, myself included, said, we're not going to do that. And that's where places like Breitbart, and it led to the rise of Trump, started saying, we are going to crack down on this stuff. We're going the complete opposite direction, and we don't care if a civil war breaks out because this is a hill to die on. And it worked out incredibly. I mean, if you had told me that after the 2012 autopsy that we'd have Donald Trump in 4 years and then Donald Trump again 4 years after that, or 8 years after that, I mean, you wouldn't believe it, but it worked out for us. Now, the problem is who would win a civil war with the Democrats? It'd probably be the insane people because they've got the most energy. They inspire the donors. So you get this sort of dark woke is what they're talking about, where they're really leaning into the woke stuff. Even though we think woke is over, Charlie, they don't all feel that way. So if they have a civil war, I think it might actually hurt them. But you know what? If they want to try it, they might need to because their leadership is so lame and weak right now.
And so there's something of note here that we don't want to ignore. I was just in Boise, Idaho, and we drew a big crowd. I mean, to go debate a bunch of college kids to draw 3,000 people, that's big. However, you have to be honest. You got to tell it like it is. The night before, Bernie and AOC, they drew 12,000 people in Boise. It's a big number. Now, I understand that area, that part of the world doesn't get a lot of attention. It's kind of like what happens when we go to California. When you're so in the ideological minority, you tend to draw out anyone that's like-minded because there really is nothing of the sort. But 12,000 people in Boise is real. And they were drawing big crowds all across the West. What do you make about the AOC Bernie combination? Is this a robust grassroots populist counter to MAGA? Or is it basically the Democrats continuing on their ultra-radical policies and something that we should encourage more of happening?
Well, Bernie's a total fraud. He wouldn't even support the Democrats that he got along with when Trump put them up for confirmation, which is another genius move by Trump. Not only did he pick the best people for his cabinet, but he picked Democrats specifically to expose the senators who act like they're anti-establishment, but they're pure establishment. Bernie's always been that way. He's got a bunch of houses. He's a rich guy, and then he acts like he's a socialist. But there is an astroturf here, which might comfort the audience a little bit, which is a lot of them are trying to piggyback off of musical acts. So they'll get the musicians out who people want to see, and then they'll tack on an AOC or a Bernie Sanders speech. So I don't really buy the 12,000 number. But that said, we should go to the woodshed and act as though they're building a robust grassroots resistance that isn't just Soros-funded stuff like a lot of the Tesla stuff and a lot of our reporting. This group Indivisible that's very networked, or the new Arabella Advisors where they're just funding everything. We got to act like they're going to get organized and they're going to come back and they're going to mount a comeback. We got to act like we're in a war footing. We're not in peacetime yet. We're in wartime. We should behave that way. But if you want to comfort, I don't think the 12,000 number is legit, Charlie. Your 3,000 number is legit and very impressive. I'm loving the college stuff. Absolutely incredible content, and good for you for doing it.
Thank you. In fact, we're doing more campus tour stops this semester than even during the election. We are in a 24/7, 365 mentality. Elections are merely just moments in a broader cultural conflict. Alex, you're the best. Plug whatever you want to our audience.
Alex Marlow Show and the Salem Podcast Network. So that's wherever you get your podcasts, and leaving a nice review is always good as well. But anytime you need me, Charlie, I'm here for you.
Thanks, Alex, so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you.